Some of you might not like it, but it's a fact. Money doesn't come from the sky. Doesn't matter which God you believe in, that God doesn't exist. It's not gonna give you money. That God is not gonna give you money. Let's do a test right now. God, drop money from the sky if you exist. No, there is no money. So there is no, I don't know. I don't wanna say there is no God, but God doesn't provide money. So that God doesn't provide. So that's a lie. People keep fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting for money. Because money is one of the main gods of this planet. Money is the god of this planet. Yes, you heard that right from me. Money rule this planet. Money rule the world. Yes. Remember that song, if I was a rich girl or was a money, I don't remember, but God doesn't provide. Thank you. Now people getting ready to protest and ask their God for money. Religious institutions, sex is on the video. Religious institutions are asking the government for money. So, and some religious institutions got the nerve to say that money is the rule of evil. Well, if that is true, why are you asking for money when you go to church? You pass in the baskets and the envelopes to donate money. So, we need money. We cannot live without money. Okay, you got money for your medical expenses, money for anything you need money. So we need money for everything. Money. We all need money. Hi.
Yeah, I'm standing. I'm sure.
She saw you. Hi. She saw you. Ow.
No, not that.
We need money.
Okay, no worries. I'll take
And that is the... ¿Dónde está Hamilton Pérez? ¿Dónde está Hamilton Pérez?
I haven't applied for the press advisory again this morning. She was going to get back to me. So why is it sent to
100% or just a smaller percentage of the tax being donated.
Do you see this girl? Everybody's fascinated about this girl. This is the popular girl of Wall Street. She's the popular girl. Namaste, namaste. Namaste. They look adorable. Yes, namaste. That's a namaste girl, Hare Krishna girl. This is Hare Krishna girl.
Babe, I'll take a picture of it next to it.
Who ruled this world? The money. We can live without. We cannot live without money. You can live without anything, but money, impossible. So who rules this world? The money. For affordable housing, healthcare, mental health, infrastructure, education, transit, address climate change, restore the sales tax. We have Elizabeth Mackey right here.
Housing is human rights. Fight, fight, fight.
So that would have been Governor Kerry. So we're doing legislative research now to find out exactly which Democrats.
Halfpenny on the table, no more greed, no more need. Halfpenny on the table, no more greed, no more need. Halfpenny on the table, no more greed, no more need. Halfpenny on the table, no more greed, no more need. Halfpenny on the table, no more greed, no more need. Halfpenny on the table, no more greed, no more need.
Mentiroso. Let me cut the liars.
That's a little bit of flavor here. So as far as administration culpability, it is enough to go around because in
That's Miss
Generation
Flowers.
6, multiple incumbents have tried to hold
People over profit. 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 People over profit.
And so, so this question was responsible.
Halfpenny on the table. No more greed, no more need. People over profit.
People over profit.
Halfpenny on the table. No more greed.
People over profit. People over profit. People over profit. People over profit.
Right.
People over profit. 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 People over profit.
No more what? No more need.
No more greed. No more need. No more greed. No more need.
No more greed.
No more need.
No more what? All right. Oh, I love that. Okay, one more. Tax the rich, fix that glitch. Tax the rich, fix that glitch.
Tax the rich. Fix that glitch. Tax the rich. Fix that glitch. Tax the rich. Fix that glitch. Tax the rich. Fix that glitch. Tax the rich. Fix that glitch. Tax the rich.
Fix that glitch.
Tax the rich.
Fix that glitch.
Tax the rich.
Fix that glitch.
Tax the rich.
Fix that glitch.
Tax the rich.
Fix that glitch.
Tax the rich. Fix that glitch. Tax the rich. Fix that glitch. Tax the rich. Fix that glitch. Tax the rich. Fix that glitch.
Tax the rich.
Fix that glitch.
Tax the rich.
Fix that glitch.
Tax the rich.
Fix that glitch. Tax the rich. Fix that glitch. Tax the rich. Fix that glitch.
Tax the rich.
Fix that
Okay, welcome. Welcome. Thank you for coming out to the Stop Transfer Tax Rebate, Transfer Tax Rebate Rally and Press Conference. We're going to get started in just a little bit, but just to tell you a little bit about why we are here, the building behind us every day generates millions, if not billions of dollars, and they do not and have not paid their fair share for a very, very long time.
1981.
Since when?
Since 1981, they get 100% rebate on the stock transfer tax, which is pennies on the dollar.
So that means when they buy something, they get the tax for it back. So when you go to the store, you don't get the taxes back that what you pay on it. But they do.
That ain't
That
right.
ain't right. My name is Rashida Tyler. I'm the Deputy Executive Director of the New York State Council of Churches. And I'm here today with so many people from around the state, around New York State, who are saying enough is enough.
That's right.
What is enough? Enough is enough. That's right. So we are asking that the people who buy and sell stocks in this building behind us pay their fair share, pennies on the dollar when they are selling and buying and selling stocks. So we just came out of the Easter season. A season of reflection, a season when we're supposed to be seeking justice and truth and trying to focus on renewal. But we cannot say the same for our tax system in New York State. It is the same tired system over and over again that taxes the poor while letting the wealthy get off without paying their fair share.
That ain't right.
That ain't right.
That ain't right.
So if I am going to go buy anything at the store, ramen noodles, a hamburger, I have to pay sales tax on that. But that is not the case. If I'm selling Coca-Cola stock, I do not have to pay tax on that in New York State.
That ain't right.
Right now, we have a bill called the Housing Access Voucher, right? The Housing Access Voucher would help pay for housing for people who are low income outside of New York City. In New York City, you have City Tax Voucher. Outside of New York City, we don't have that. We don't have any voucher system. We have a homelessness problem, we have a housing crisis, and we have the means to do something about it at our disposal by asking those who have more to do just a little bit more. And so the governor has vetoed the Housing Access Voucher Program 5 times. This is the 6th year that she's vetoed it. That ain't right. A total cost of $250 million. That is it. $250 million. And it is too much for our state to afford, to help people stay housed. The money that could be generated from this bill, the stock transfer rebate, repealing it, would help programs like the Housing Access Voucher Program to be funded. We're having federal cuts right now. This would help to prevent some of the damage from the Trump administration impacting us here in New York State. So we are joined by a fearless leader, someone who has for many years fought for the labor rights movement, has fought for New Yorkers. He's most famous or most recognizable by his many contributions to the labor movement, including being the organizer of the famous, was made famous by Norma Ray, the movie. Oh, here we go.
You're the expert.
There we go. I got you. So I would like to introduce someone who's trying to walk away right now. But we're not going to let him do that because he does too much good things. I would like to introduce the extraordinary, the legendary Ray Rogers.
Okay. This right. We're gonna use that. Going in and out. Hello.
In and out. It's out.
Is this better?
Yeah, that.
Okay, much better, right?
Yeah, we do that. Thank you, Rashida. Thank you, Rashida. I tell you what, I'd like to first ask for a moment of silence. Okay, a moment of silence for all of those who are suffering from the ravages of Wall Street. Which is overrunning our cities, our state, and our country with greed, rampant greed. So this moment of silence is in respect for all those that are suffering from what Wall Street is doing to everybody in the cities, the state, and across the country.
Right.
Okay, I think we know why we're all here. Amen. Thank you. The reason we're all here is we want to support securing the legislation to pass the restoring the stock transfer. We're all here today for the same reason. That reason is to restore the stock tax on stock sales, or to end the stock tax rebate. I don't know what's happening to me here. Okay.
Got it? Got it.
Okay. All right. We have a great group of speakers here today. We've got about 14 of them. They're all going to be limiting their speeches to about 3 minutes. Assemblymember Steck, we're going to give him more time. And but again, the key thing is the bill, as Rashida mentioned earlier. If we get this bill passed, it'll mean $13 to $20 billion every single year to do social good. Right now, all that money is being rebated to these rich stockbrokers. Okay, so understand, that money was collected, as Rashida said earlier, from 1905 to 1981. It's time we collect it back. We've lost hundreds of billions of dollars since 1981. They should give affordable housing, health care, education, you name it. All right, and it's all being returned back to the big stockbrokers and to the hedge fund people, the stock speculators, the ones that cause the stock crashes. Okay, so what I want to do here is I'm delighted to be able to introduce, there are two legislators. One is Assemblymember Steck. Assemblymember Steck is over here, okay? We're calling him first. I don't think Senator Sanders is here yet. Okay, but let me just say something about Assemblymember Steck. To me, this man is a hero, a legislative hero, because of this bill that he's the lead sponsor on. How many people are willing to stand up to Wall Street that's in the state legislature? Like, not very many, we know that, right? But he has done it. I have great respect for this man. And if we can get this bill and get behind him and get this thing passed, it's going to alleviate a lot of suffering for all New Yorkers. Okay, let me say this last thing about the bill. This bill, if passed, will advance the well-being of all New Yorkers more than anything that's out there. It'll advance the well-being of all New Yorkers. Right?
No more greed, no more need. No more greed, no more need. No more greed, no more need.
Well, I want to thank everyone, all the organizations that put this event together. Of course, I can't go through and thank everyone personally. Boston, New York State Council of Churches took the lead on this event of today. We're very, very thankful. Now, defeating Donald Trump and the oligarchy starts here. Trump was elected because all the economic gains since 1980 have gone to the centers of high tech and high finance and have been disproportionately concentrated in the hands of billionaires like Elon Musk, many of whom were subsidized by the government. The rest of the country is being hollowed out and voted for the con man Trump, who will only make things worse out of desperation. The stock transfer tax is designed to restore some sense of balance to the economic system. It can address the parts of New York State that are being hollowed out. It shifts a very small percentage of the gains from high tech and high finance to the people. Reenacting the tax would restore balance to the tax system. New York exports 20% of its tax revenue to other states. For example, when you buy gas for your car, there are taxes being paid to oil-producing states like Texas, which allows them to tax their citizens at rates lower than New York. Our major industry is finance. If we pay taxes to the state of Texas to bring gasoline to New York, why can't Texans pay taxes when they trade stock in New York? Yeah! The stock transfer tax has a great history. It was enacted by the Republican Party when the Republican Party was realistic and not labeling all taxes as evil. It existed from 1905 to 1981, when it was repealed by Democrats who were caught up in the Wall Street fever dream, thinking Wall Street would make us all rich.
Corrupt politicians.
The financial crisis of 2008 taught us or should have taught us, that we cannot rely on the financial wizards of Wall Street to run the economy. There is a huge difference between business based on ever striving for higher profits and economics, which seeks the good of the people as a whole. When the stock transfer tax was first enacted, the New York Times railed against it. Wall Street moved to New Jersey, and indeed the New York Stock Exchange created a New Jersey corporation to do just that. But the New York Times was forced to eat crow. It admitted later it was wrong. Almost all the other exchanges in the nation closed while ours prospered. Trade volume continually increased when the tax was in effect. Billions of dollars from the tax were remitted to the state of New York, allowing for things like virtually free college education. The reason why Wall Street will not move is simple economics. The stock transfer tax is a sales tax. It is not paid by any Wall Street firms. It is paid by the customers who buy stock, who are mostly from other states and other nations. The Wall Street firms just collect the tax and transfer it to the government. Wall Street would not move to avoid a tax it does not pay. The cost of moving would be astronomical. The tax is tiny. It is on average a half penny per dollar with a maximum of $300 on any transaction. The principle of economics involved is very simple. If you go to the bodega and the government imposes a Trump-like tariff of 25%, you won't buy the product and the owner of the bodega is harmed. But if the tax is 0.1%, nobody notices and the store owner is not harmed in the slightest. The same principle applies here to the stock transfer tax. The Hong Kong Exchange has a stock transfer tax of 1%, almost double that of New York. Recently, when the Hong Kong Exchange increased its tax to 1.3%, Goldman Sachs Asian market said it was irrelevant because no one makes investment decisions based on a transfer tax. The other arguments against the tax are specious. No, Wall Street will not move trading to the amorphous cloud to avoid the tax. The nebulous cloud is just a network of computers. Trading already takes place on the cloud using a vast computer network outside of New York State. As long as any one of the computers used in the transaction is located in New York, it is taxable here. No, the tax will not cause the loss of employment in New York City. Employment in the security industry is declining due to computers replacing people. Has nothing to do with this.
That ain't right.
No, investors will not trade elsewhere to avoid the tax. They trade in New York because New York has the wildest array of investment vehicles in the world. 60% of all stock is traded right behind me.
That's right.
They won't trade in London, which has a transfer tax of its own. Chicago has an exchange owned by the New York Stock Exchange. Illinois has a democratic government. There's a companion bill in Illinois, and it is a much, much, much smaller exchange. Based on volume on the New York Stock Exchange, the stock transfer tax would raise $14 to $16 billion in revenue per year. Not a one shot per year. With that money, we could revitalize the infrastructure of our state and thereby attract business to areas of the state that have been hollowed out by private equity and the financialization of the economy. That would free up other revenue to allow us to meet all the social services needs of our state government. We are in the midst of a budget battle right now. The budget hasn't yet passed. But one thing I always say about the New York State budget, it's in a giant amalgamation of partially funded programs, all of which do well. However, they are never funded to the extent needed to carry out their essential purpose. Finally, I will end by saying that repealing the stock transfer tax was the biggest mistake in the history of New York State government. We need it now more than ever. We need to restore balance to the economy. We need to rebuild our state. In the immortal words of the greatest political leader in the history of our state, Franklin D. Roosevelt, all we have to fear is fear itself.
Listen, we can tax the rich and fix that glitch. Tax the rich, fix that glitch. Tax the rich and fix that glitch. Tax the rich and fix that glitch. Tax the rich and fix that glitch.
Jack, this Jack has really been fighting for this for a long time.
Miss Flowers, take a picture with him.
Sure, absolutely.
Milton, ponte la foto con él.
I'll take a picture too.
Milton, ponte la foto. Ponte la foto. Wait, Miss Flower, don't go.
It's inconsequential. It doesn't harm anything. There's other things you can say.
How you doing?
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Millionaires,
Thank you. Peter Cook, I'm Executive Director of the New York State Council of Churches. Since 1893, 7,500 congregations in rural, in urban, and suburban communities across this state have worked tirelessly to institute and maintain and properly fund the social safety net. That is what we do. No matter how the political winds blow, we stay true to our mission to call on the government to properly fund programs like Medicaid, Social Security, transportation, Medicare, affordable housing,
The mic is not working.
child care, public education, SNAP, and so much more. We believe in a bottom-up and middle-out economic investment approach as was conceptualized by Franklin Delano Roosevelt as the best approach to economic revitalization and care for our citizens. In contrast, we reject trickle-down economic approaches which are once again, unfortunately, in vogue, which constitutes a disinvestment in our economy, and it hurts everybody.
Absolutely.
To pay for that social safety net requires revenue, and we will always support efforts to collect taxes equitably and appropriately. And one of the best approaches, we believe, is the institution of the stock transfer tax, where we collect the tax and we keep it. It's one of the best approaches we know. In the state of New York, as it's been said, we charge around 8% sales tax to buy a t-shirt or a new car, but when it comes to trading stocks, the state only collects pennies on the dollar and then promptly refunds it. It's crazy. It's not fair that New Yorkers, or for that matter, any person in the world who buys something in New York pays 8%, but nothing when they buy or sell a stock. This proposal would collect around $16 billion a year.
We need that money.
In that safety net. And it's opposed by some politicians who worry Wall Street will move to Texas. Give me a break. We know that threat, as Assemblyman Steck said, is way overblown. Our question is, while firms are all of a sudden going to leave over a minuscule tax on stock trades that are not even paid by them, why is it that they are all still here even though we charge an 8% sales tax on everything else? Let's get beyond the excuses and the scare tactics and support the stock transfer tax to invest in our social safety net, in our economy, from the bottom up and the middle out.
Support the bill. No more greed, no more need. No more greed, no more need. No more greed, no more need.
No more greed, no more need. No more greed, no more need.
Justice demands restore stock sales tax. Justice demands restore stock sales tax. Fat cats say no, we say yes. Fat cats say no,
We say yes.
Fat cats say no,
We say yes.
Okay, the next speaker is Brian Fitch, the Associate Director of the Permanent Citizens Advisory Committee to the MTA. Brian?
Thank you all so much. I'm Brian Fritsch, Associate Director for the Permanent Citizens Advisory Committee to the MTA, PCAC. PCAC was founded by the state legislature in 1981 to represent riders of the MTA system. The MTA is the engine for equity and opportunity in New York City and the region. We could not function as a society and as a city without it. And we desperately need to invest in our system, especially at a time when we are facing threats from the federal government to pull back transportation funding from New York State, which is ridiculous.
That ain't right.
We have a stated goal in our upcoming capital plan of $35.4 billion. Even with the most conservative estimate of $13 billion, 10% going to the MTA. That's $1.3 billion in annual revenue that the MTA can bond to fill over half, even more than 60% of the gap that we have in the plan. We can't go back to an unreliable and undependable transportation system that leaves people behind. We can't go back to the summer of hell of 2017. We need trains and buses that get people where they need to go, and we need it now. We need a state that can stand on its own 2 feet. That's why PCAC supports the stock transfer tax. Let's get it done. Thank you.
No more greed, no more need. No more greed, no more need.
Okay. We have one speaker here, Assembly Phil Steck. I talked about the heroes in the legislature who are willing to stand up to Wall Street. We now have Senator James Sanders, who's going to take the podium. Senator James Sanders is the other half of the heroes.
Sanders!
I gotta learn this first.
You're good. I got the trigger.
So I just speak. Nope, I have to press something. Just hold. Well, I'm going to speak and I'll have to raise my voice if need be. And we all need to raise our voices because the need is. We can either have a lovable and livable city, or we can have a city dominated by the rich and the rest of us can't make it in this big city. Imagine for a second, if there were a way that just for half a penny per stock transfer, we could have billions for health care. Billions for transportation. Billions for education. We can fix some of our streets. We might even do some housing. We should. Make some affordable housing in New York City. We should go a step further. Imagine that. To look after our elders and our young. At the cost of a half penny per stock transfer. You would say that this is ridiculous for us not to do so. I agree with you. I'm State Senator James Sanders Jr., and I'm the chair of banking for New York State. My friends, there's something wrong with the city that looks out for only Wall Street and not Main Street. There's something wrong with not having affordable housing and building more and more skyscrapers. I couldn't even find down here there were so many skyscrapers for the rich. Now, if you have an extra $1 billion, then New York City is the best city in the world for you. But if you don't have your first million, if you don't have those things, then this city, only a statue like George over there could live in. We need a city for the rest of us. We need a New York that is New York for everyone.
That is affordable.
I am glad that Assembly Member Steck and I have put together a stock transfer tax. Imagine that. Billions of stock fly through here every day.
Every second.
At the cost of a half penny per stock transfer. We can make sure that we have a livable city. Now, I was here in the 70s. I was years old at that time. It was not a pleasant place to be, my friend. I've heard that there's some new leadership down in D.C. I heard that they have some really, really big ideas, really great ideas for New York City. I've looked at these ideas and they are horrible. Each one would devastate New York City. We need to move affirmatively now. We should not wait for the other shoe to drop. We should not wait till they put a tariff on New York City. We should move in the affirmative fashion. We should start working on affordability now. That's why I have gathered with these people behind me. The best people that money can't buy. The best people that are here for New York.
Say that.
To say, hey, we are New Yorkers and we deserve an affordable city. Now, before my friend's arms get too tight to hold it, well, never say that to a politician. Because I'll speak to George over there. Comes in Georgia. You owe me, George. I'm very clear. Having said those things, my friends, I will say just this. I will say that we need to keep doing what we're doing. Keep pushing New York and New York State. Keep working with your elected officials. Call your elected officials and ask them, where do they stand on the toxic? Oh, Lord, I must be in New York too much. Where, and I love New York, I live here. Where do we stand on the stock transfer tax? Where do they stand on this? If they're not standing on it, they need to be here now. I heard that we have a radio station here. The People's Radio Station is here too. WBAI is up here.
Yeah!
I heard that the Amsterdam News is up here. I heard that we have other folk, the best people again, that money can't buy, standing with us. All of these great groups in back. If I were foolish, I'd try to name every name. But I know that I forget somebody, and that would cost me. Having said that, my friends, I'm going to let go of the mic if that is possible for a politician. And I am going to, I suspect that we have Assemblymember Steck here. He's got that. I'm ready to do stock transfer, and I'm ready to tell you about it. Have you spoken yet?
Yes, I have.
You have, all right. So having said that, continue to push. We're pushing up north. And if you're gonna get my, hey, if you're taking a picture of me, get my best side. Here's an action. Better yet, George, you need to get down here. You owe me and a bunch of folks, but you need to come to New York and stand up in this great place. We are, thank you for everybody being here. I'm Senator James Sanders Jr.
It was like a Rolls Royce today.
Tax the rich!
Fix that glitch.
Tax the rich! Tax the rich! Tax the rich! Fix the glitch! Tax the rich! Fix the glitch!
Tax the rich! Tax the rich! Tax the rich!
Tax the rich!
Fix that glitch.
Tax the rich!
Fix that glitch.
Billionaires, time to pay your fair share. Oh, wow. I'm gonna get out their picture.
All right, Hard Knocks Life Radio TV. What's up? I'm with the hip hop community. All right. Yeah, she got that picture for you.
Hey there.
Wait a minute, I want to
You got your hat? Now don't lose your hat, man. And that's the truth. All of this had to be for you. We, those of us of a certain age, we are fighting to make sure that you have a city that you can live in. Not that you have to live way in Pennsylvania and bust yourself up here every day. You deserve a city here. However, we're here, but we need you to come out too. Come on now. The original protest music or some of it, hip hop,
We
you
outside.
need to be
We
here.
still here. Reform Alliance is Jay-Z, Meek Mill, helping formally and
Is that right? Well, tell them I'm still down with the message.
Thank you.
I have an orange guy down in D.C. who is determined to make sure that New York does not have enough money to carry on the business of New York. So I think that once we realize that he is kind enough to devastate us, we need to move in an affirmative fashion, and we need to make sure that our police are paid, that the fire department is paid, that the roads are paid, that education takes place, and that we can do it for a half penny per stock transfer.
And which state programs would you want to fund this money?
Oh my, you leave it to me, I'll take most of it to my district, but thank God you won't leave it to me. My district is right around Kennedy Airport. Thank God. What we should pay, if I have my way, we'll start with affirmative. We'll start with affordable housing. My God, do we need affordable housing? There's not a soul in this audience right here who can live in this community right over here. All of us would have, I bet you, well, maybe if all of us put our money together, we could afford one of these. Maybe. We need some truly affordable housing, but we also need to look out for health. Now that we got a guy in D.C. who is telling us drink bleach and all kinds of other wise moves, we need to look out for our health care. We need to make sure our health care system is taken care of. After that, of course, we have to make sure that the lifeline of New York, the trains, are taken care of. This congestion pricing, it will get us some of the way. This can take us the rest of the way.
Senator Sanders, your district, Queens, bore the brunt of the COVID epidemic.
Oh my.
We closed how many hospitals since 1980 while we were rebating back this money?
In my personal district, we lost Peninsula Hospital and several other hospitals just in Queens. We're going to get hit again. We've got a guy who doesn't believe in vaccines, a guy who doesn't believe in prevention, a guy who's getting rid of the best minds on health. Measles. Didn't we beat measles a billion years ago? And yet it is back, and let's not even speaking of bird flu. Under those conditions, we should be ready. and you got to have money for it. It has to come from somewhere. It should not be on the backs of working people. They pay too much already.
Do you think it'll be enough to petition the state for most potential federal cuts? 13 billion, 16 billion, I think you've
Well,
listed.
it depends on how much he cuts. If he is in a good mood and only lacerates us so much, then yes, we'll be able to. But if he wakes up in his usual mood, his usual foul mood, he will get out there and he will devastate the city. We should be ready.
And you attended Adrian Adams' campaign launch in St. Louis Crew oversight, but then you later announced that you're endorsing Cuomo. Are you going to rank Adrian? And
Oh,
what
absolutely.
Oh, are you? What,
Adrian is I couldn't tell you how I vote, but I'll tell you what. Right before I'm going to put it out to the world, but Adrian absolutely has a place to play, and if she wins, that's a good thing for the city. She's a great person.
Did anything change for you between her launch and then when you endorsed Cuomo officially that changed your mind?
Well, Cuomo, the governor, we have to look at it this way. He has not been convicted of any of these things that he was charged with. And under those conditions, we have to really, can I have it? Good to be clear. We have to, a person has to be considered innocent until proven guilty, and looking at everything, all of the factors around us, including what's happening in D.C., he may be the right guy for the job, but we're blessed. There's so many good people in there. Zoran, I mean, there are so many good people. New York is blessed that it has some good choices, and may the best man or woman win. I've got half the people I'm sitting next to. It's interesting up there.
Thank you so much.
You're more than welcome. Thank you.
From the 18 co-sponsors you have in the Senate to 32 votes.
I suspect that on the day after our good president, quote me, moves on New York, that number will triple. Our options will have evaporated. Then it's a question of whose ox or bull is to be gored. Since we're near Wall Street and the Wall Street Bull is near here, whose bull will be gored? Will it come from working people, from everyday people trying to take care of their children? Or will it come from people who won't even feel half a penny? If we are wise, if we are bold, we will maintain our city, and those who are paying a half a penny more, I don't know why you would complain. And I trust that they won't.
I think it's actually less than half a penny. I was doing some calculations last night. So if you bought 100 shares of Apple, which was trading for $200 a share last night, you'd pay $5 on it.
When you're having that much money that they're traveling with, they wouldn't even feel it. My God, man, I don't know. If I had that much money, I would pay it now. I wouldn't wait to be taxed. I would just pay it now, but I guess that's why I'm not a billionaire.
Thank you. Anything else you want to add?
The sooner that we do this, the less pain that the people take. We should not wait until the check comes due to collect the money. No, that's not good government. Good government plans on having money before the bill comes in.
You want to be him? Huh?
Wait, we're gonna do better. Yeah.
We're from Australia.
Australia.
Yes.
Say no to Sharia law. No to Sharia law.
No.
No to Sharia law.
Thank you so much.
Australian people say no to Sharia law. We don't want Sharia law in Australia too.
Yes, you do.
Thank you so much.
Remember, say no to Sharia law. We don't want Sharia law. No to Sharia law. not to Sharia law.
You're in a
Sharia law?
No, not in Australia. No, it's not happens there.
Why hard? We don't want that in here. We don't want that here too.
No, not in Australia. It won't happen. They're minority there.
Make sure they stay minority. Once they keep country, the entire country will be Sharia. We don't want that in there. Not in here either. Give me five.
I don't know if the best is run.
One of the most expensive shopping malls in history. We can put these people in a shelter, sustainable community where homeless no longer exists. How about where they want to build casinos and attract tourists?
Well, one thing is
And
certain.
one more thing.
Whoever wins, we're going to have to try to hold them accountable. Whoever wins is going to have to be held accountable. I'm pledged to do something about the question of homelessness and all these other evils.
And
Also-
people always talking about affordability. We need to put a rent cap. Okay, there needs to be a rent cap. They need to change the AMI.
I was about to go there. I'm glad you know
Change
that.
that. And there's a lot of issues. Even people that's paying $4,000, there should be a rent cap.
One of the things that we need to do an AMI just for New York City.
For the community,
Yes.
for that district. For
In
that
Nassau
district.
County.
For that particular district.
I actually proposed that 10 years ago.
Well,
when
I
I was at the
proposed that
city
over
council.
10 years ago.
Please support
They need to
Then I
change.
probably got it from
support
you.
cash assistance.
And the cash assistance.
Please support cash assistance.
I'm sorry, say again?
Please support cash assistance. This is our bill.
Right now it's $1.50 a day.
Is that
They
right?
haven't changed it since
1987 or something like that.
$1.50.
The small bill.
Is that at the city level? Or is that the
State level.
At the city?
The state level.
Oh, wait, that's the state.
You got a business card?
Oh, sure. Then-
Someone will contact your office to support the bill.
Good. The guy that you want to speak to up there is named Paul.
Paul?
Can you
In
write
that
that?
Albany.
Paul, what's his last name?
Well, you give me a card.
The
so-
last question, because we need him over here. They need him over here. They asked me to come get him.
Okay, let me get the Paul
Send me that.
Paul
Alexander.
Alexander at that Albany number. He's my legislative director.
Oh, he's your legislative director.
Thank you for
You're not
that.
leaving now.
There you go. I like it.
Thank you, Senator Sanders, for coming out early.
And we've heard it already, transit, healthcare, education are dwindling. While we watched our retirement savings start to tank, while Trump played chicken with tariffs, still they raked in billions of dollars because of that rebate. We are the city that is the richest in the world, and we have the largest gap between rich and poor. Does that make any sense? When Wall Street makes billions of dollars and does not care about the people in New York, it does not. The Green Party has long advocated for the repeal of the rebate and to tax the rich and Wall Street their fair share. And so the time is now to end the rebate. We appreciate and support the bill that Senator and Assemblymen have put before us. So tax the rich, 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 tax the rich.
Thank you, Gloria. Kessler. The next person I want to introduce is Kessler Cornish and his wife Elizabeth Mackey. They are vocal activists, and believe me, they are active out there in the community doing a lot of good. Kessler.
All right. How's everybody feeling today? We want to make them pay that tax. All right. Listen, I want to say, pay your share. You say we need that money. Pay your share. We need that money. I said, pay your share. We need that money. Pay your share. We need that money. And we really do need that money. My name is Kessler Cornish, and this is my fiance, Elizabeth Mackey. We are both leaders and members of Vocal New York, who is on the ground grimy in the dirt organization that gets the job done. And our motto is, when we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. So we're gonna win this thing today. Not today, it'll be tomorrow. If it ain't tomorrow, it'll be a week after. If it's not that, we're gonna continue to fight until they decide to pay that tax. What y'all think about that? All right, so now listen. This tax is not a tax that's gonna be a burden to these billionaires. This tax is less than 1%. Wow. Less than 1%, but it will bring 13 to 20 billion dollars annually to the coffers of the citizens of New York City. It will help to with the affordable housing. It will help with education. And we know that many of our citizens, especially after COVID-19, we need mental health resources, and that will help with that as well.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Not only will it help with that as well, it'll also help with the infrastructure, transit, and so forth and so on. Affordable housing, and this is something that we critically need. Yes, I don't see any reason why they wouldn't want to pay that less than 1%. You should be ashamed, because we are the very heart of the financial center of the planet.
Yes, sir.
This is the center of the world, and this is the heartbeat. And if it's the heartbeat, then that means that we need to take care of our body, because the heart is necessary to keep us living. We need that money. Yeah. And so I came here today, and many of my vocal brothers and sisters who are here, you see them supporting us, they're here today to say, Wall Street, you need to pay that tax. We need it. And so I'm gonna, oh yes, we wanna fix that glitch and tax the rich. Fix that glitch. Tax the rich. We wanna fix that glitch. Tax the rich. We wanna fix that glitch. Tax the rich. All right, I'm gonna say that other thing one more time, because y'all said that with so much power, right? Pay your share. We need that money. I said pay your share. We need that money. Pay your share. We need that money. Yes, we do. Yeah. Whoa. Oh, I'm sorry. My fiance wants to say a word too.
Hello? Okay, I'm a member and a leader of Vocal New York. So yes, this rebate will help with the homeless, the population that we're having, because we're having too many people that reside in the New York City shelters, which is literally over 155,000 families and individuals that lives in the shelter system, and that's only not including 45,000 of those are children. So this rebate will help with affordable that will meet the needs of the people, because everybody's need is different. So if we can get this back into the communities, it will help not just to build shelters, but to also build affordable housing based on people's income. So we need that based on for the housing, voucher program that we're trying to implement, but we need this. And this is something that we should have been doing, but I'm glad to be on this platform, Mr. Rogers.
Rogers here.
Rogers. I thank you, for this opportunity. But yes, we need to tax the rich, and we need to stick together, and we definitely need to get on board every organization, every community, because this right here, it will bring back money into our communities to do the right thing. Thank you.
All right. Fix the glitch. Tax the rich. Fix the glitch. Tax the rich. Fix the glitch.
Your name is Flowers, say a few words. Miss Flowers, say a few words.
Go ahead.
Say a few words, Miss Flowers.
I want to give a shout out to Hard Knocks Life Radio TV. That's the hip hop community, and we know that's a major part of New York, right? And so we want to give it up to you for being out here and supporting us as well. And as the gentleman earlier said in regards to using Rikers Island as a mental health unit, I want to say that there's a movement for close Rikers Island, and because it hasn't done anything but take the lives of many men and women inside of there unnecessarily, and that's a part of Vocal New York as well. We deal with mass incarceration and criminal justice reform, and we're out here to get this done. And when we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. And we're gonna win.
Let Miss Flowers. Let Miss Flowers.
I'm Flowers. I work here on Wall Street.
25 years, right there, 40 Broad, across from the stock exchange, right? So we know about this. We knew when they took the money in 1981. 100% rebate given back. Never in the history of taxes have you ever given back a 100% rebate on what? Because it's called what? You don't call it money. You get to call it capital gains. You get to call it earned income. You get to call it what? Anything but money. But any money we make, it's that old story. Warren Buffett, as a business owner, gets to pay 15% tax because the government helps business owners. But his secretary has to get taxed as a laborer at 35%. That ain't right. But because the government helps businesses have and keep money, we need to know that these corrupt politicians who got paid off by this business, Wall Street versus Main Street, we know that it's wrong. And it's time to stand up for what's right. Do the right thing. Yeah, I happen to be Miss Ruby's stunt double and do the right thing. Screen Actors Guild is my unit. My mother was an ILGWU and my father was in mine workers. So we know how to fight, we know how to work, and we know how to win. And we're here to tell you, whether you say diversity, equity, and inclusion or not, we got 4%. What did you get? 94%. This is why we're not taking any more injustice anymore. We want everybody to stand up, say, do the right thing, give us that money, and we will have it all. Tax the rich, fix that glitch. Tax the rich, fix that glitch. Tax the rich, fix that glitch.
Let me just say, this lady was not on our speakers list, but I'll put her on my team any day. That's vocal. Okay.
And my badge is real.
She
I
was,
worked with Martin Luther
look at
King
this,
in
1963.
Okay, we got a great guy coming up next, Andy Morrison, who I had the pleasure only a couple months ago to meet for the New Economy Project.
Milton Perez. That's Milton Perez.
Tax the rich.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'm Andy Morrison. I'm from New Economy Project. We're an economic justice organization based right here in New York City. And I'm going to start by defining Wall Street in one word: extraction. What does that mean? It means Wall Street is the leading part of a system, our economic system, that extracts wealth from people and communities without investing back in our neighborhoods. That's what Wall Street does. It extracts from people and communities through redlining and predatory lending. It extracts land through speculative real estate that fuels gentrification and displacement. It extracts from our planet by financing fossil fuels. And it extracts billions from the stock market every single day with zero taxes paid on their trades. All of this extraction is connected because the same Wall Street system that profits from payday lenders and private equity landlords profits from speculative trading right behind us. It's one interconnected machine of extraction, and it's low-income communities and communities of color that bear the brunt time and again. At New Economy Project, we work with grassroots groups across New York who are building a different kind of economy, one rooted in cooperation, neighborhood equity, and racial justice. And together, we're creating community land trusts that keep housing permanently affordable. We're fighting to establish public banks that will invest in local needs. And we're strengthening community credit unions that are building rather than extracting wealth from neighborhoods. But we can't build this economy while Wall Street's machine is still running. Still extracting, still unchecked. The stock transfer tax gives us a way to push back. It already exists. We just need to end the absurd rebate New York hands back to Wall Street and start reinvesting in our neighborhoods. So let's stop subsidizing extraction and start building economic power for the people. Thank you. Thank you for having me. My name is Jason. I'm from Chinese Workers Association. We organize the Chinese community not far away from here. And since I'm coming down here in front of the stock exchange in the Wall Street, so I'm not gonna hold back. So let's admit it. This is the biggest crime scene we have seen. Where our wealth are being extracted and our money is being used by them to gamble. To gamble on money every minute, every second. To decide, they're in there right now to decide which rich people are going to take our money. That's a shame. It's happening every day. In our city, where people are talking about crime, talking about safety, who they should get to? The #1 criminals. Right here. That's who they should go after. And our community have seen the real face because we suffer the brunt from their action. Not only are they stealing our money, extracting our wealth, but they also trying to set up organizations in our community in the name of helping us. Many of us so-called non-profit organizations in our community, they're doing the worst kind of exploitation, like the 24-hour workdays, which is implemented by this organization called CPC, Chinese American Planning Council. If you look at their board members, all of them coming from this group of people, banks, finance, real estate, insurance, you name it. They're forcing a women of color, home attendant, to work 24-hour workdays, only pay them 13 hours. So every day they commit this crime, stealing home attendants, 11 hours of wages. And they now become the developers. They're using our blood and sweat to build luxury high-rise in Chinatown and the Lower East Side. That's a shame. That's what they've been doing. And look at our administration, the current administration, Governor Hochul. What does she do? This stock transfer tax, she should have passed long time ago, but she has not been doing anything. But what's worse, she's helping these criminals to get away from it. And in our community, she has been supporting, encouraging the wage thefts, encouraging the long hours of work, encouraging these big real estate and the finance to continue to suck our blood and force and destroying our health. So I'm here, I'm very honored to stand with groups, organizations across the city to push the state government to at least do the right thing, to push the state government to pass this legislation to implement the stock transfer tax. And that's a step in the right direction. And we're also building a new labor movement that prioritize people's health, prioritize our family, and prioritize our community. So this coming May Day, we're going to gather in front of City Hall to demand the city to do the right thing, to stop the 24-hour workdays, demand a universal health care for all, and stop displacement. So everyone, please join me this May Day at 12 p.m. as we say to the city and to the state that we are not that cheap. We are for our health, we care about our health and our community. And our community is not for sale. Thank you very much.
Summarize in Chinese. Summarize in Chinese. Summarize in Chinese.
Do you have any Chinese people here?
Doesn't matter for the people who watch it. Summarize in Chinese.
Tax the rent.
Not for sale one more time.
So our community is not for sale, and we put people over profits. 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 People over profits.
Summarize in Chinese.
Thank you.
Say something in Chinese. You don't want to say in Chinese?
Okay, look. Everybody's concerned about their food and water. Well, we're lucky to have Eric Weltman, who's the senior organizer for Food and Water Watch. This is Eric Weltman.
I think I got it. Good afternoon. My name is Eric Weltman, and I'm a Brooklyn-based senior organizer with Food and Water Watch, a non-profit environmental organization. We're proud to stand here today with Senator Sanders and Assemblymember Steck and our incredible allies, to support this extraordinarily important legislation. Food and Water Watch's mission is to oppose corporate control and abuse of our most vital resources and ensure that government fulfills its obligation to protect our health, our communities, and our environment. The stock transfer tax could play a crucial role in safeguarding the safety of our water and making the transition to renewable energy. We stand on Wall Street, our nation's financial center, located in a neighborhood with millions of dollars in real estate, millions of dollars in real estate that could be underwater if we don't stand the tide of climate change. At the same time, we're confronting the Trump-Musk administration, which is hell-bent on dismantling the agencies and cutting the rules that protect our water, our air, our food and climate, slashing and privatizing critical services to further enrich the wealthy. The good news, folks, yes, there is good news. The good news is that New York is positioned to showcase a better alternative, policies and programs that meet essential needs while creating good jobs. New York can lead the way in showing the nation how to take on the greedy corporations, lowering bills, creating jobs, and protecting our environment. But we need the financial resources to do it, and the stock transfer tax is a fair way to provide them.
I'll catch you on Monday. It's finished?
Ouch, ouch. Tax the rich. Tax that rich. Millionaires, pay your share. Millionaires, 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 millionaires, pay your share.
Whoa!
Thank you so much for coming out.
Yeah, before we leave, I have another person here who I worked with very closely. She was not on the speaker. It's over the camera. Okay, we're just going to have a little educational time here. But am I being told?
People want to go.
Okay.
If you want me to.
You want to speak? So go speak.
All right.
We need you.
Tell you what, we have something here. This woman can say a thing in a few minutes that really give you an indication of what's really happening with the history of the stock transfer tax and how New Yorkers have been led down the street by Wall Street. Judy Jarvis, a long time
Judy!
activist.
Siga Judy. Judy, we love Judy.
Okay.
We
so the
love
thing that
Judy.
has to be understood about this rebate of a tax. When this was started in 1975, it created an incredible budget hole. And it was enacted when the city was in receivership to the Emergency Control Board, which was the first time unelected billionaires took over the politics of the government. And we were under this receivership for years. In fact, it still exists. And should there be another crisis, it is still allowed to come back into play. So the city could be put back into receivership at any time. But in 1975, they came up with a scheme that they would pay this sales tax, which we all pay, except theirs is only 1/10 of 1%. How could that create such a budget gap? Because it's billions and billions of trades. It's the volume. On any single trade for them, it comes to almost nothing. But the aggregate of it comes to billions and came to almost 10 to 20% of the city budget. And it was at that point that the city began massive cutbacks to services. As any native New Yorker remembers, it was a time when the city shifted from being a citizens-centered government, a community-supported government, to a government at the service of Wall Street, big real estate developers, and that the citizens were simply a pocketbook that they could picket and pick the wallets of in order to fund more and more of their profits. But this is the real real double, triple indemnity that came from that. Because this public money that was now being put back in private hands, the sales tax revenue, created a gap. And we had to go to the same people to borrow money to fill the gap that it created at huge interest rates. So think of how diabolical that is. They're going to steal the money from the public coffers. Then we go to the same J.P. Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Citicorp, all of the major, Merrill Lynch, all of the major lenders to lend at huge interest rates that were in the 1970s. They were up to 7%. It became, and still is, debt service that you and I are paying for loans to cover the taxes that they're getting reimbursed. How sick is that? It is completely sick. And you know how much we paid in the last 5 years? $50 billion in interest on the loans to cover the tax that they're getting reimbursed. Now, so they're saying, well, if we have to pay this tax, we're going to leave. It's simply not true. They've been paying this tax in the London Stock Exchange, in the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, in London since the 1700s. It's called a stamp tax. And they aren't leaving London, and they aren't leaving New York to go to Florida, to leave the world capital to go to Florida. It is not happening. So you have to call Governor Hochul. It's not that she wouldn't want the money that this tax revenue would bring. It was the golden age of New York. It built affordable housing. It built Mitchell-Lama housing. It was in 1975 that after 125 years of free tuition at CUNY, suddenly we had to start paying tuition. It created greater income inequality. It removed upward mobility for the working and middle and poor in New York. It stopped the expansion of SUNY. This tax expanded SUNY to affordable colleges throughout New York State. It allowed art, music, and physical ed classes and teacher shortages. When it stopped, we had subways that were a nickel from 1905 to 1948. The subway fare was under 50 cents until 1975. And then suddenly it started shooting up. The MTA borrows on top of what the city borrows. This has created a debt addiction, and it could wipe it all out. 20% of our budget is going to pay interest on the loans that these people have created by not paying a simple, minuscule 1/10 of 1% sales tax. So you've got to call Governor Hochul's office and say, why aren't you supporting reinstating the 75-year-old sales tax that made New York great?
And also Carl Hastings.
Carl Hastings. You could call the Speaker of the House and the State Assembly. They don't even know. They don't know. If you call the Assembly, call the State House, the State Senate, but most of all, call Hochul's office. Learn who your representative is and call them and say, are you supporting it?
Andreas Stewart Cousin. Andreas Stewart Cousin.
We have to get her to support it. Robert Reich, the former labor secretary who served 4 different presidents, came out yesterday in support of sales tax on stock transfers. The time has come to do it now. So make those phone calls.
If you don't know who your state senator or state assembly person is, go to nypirg.org/repfinder, nypirg.org/repfinder.
Just Google it. Just Google who is my state rep. Put in your zip code. They will tell you. Who is my state representative, my zip code is, and they'll tell you.
Yes. We're fortunate to have somebody here from the New York Public Interest Research Group, so I want to give the microphone and see if we can take a couple of minutes to speak.
Okay, thank you so much. Howdy everyone, I'm Steve Brinson, I'm with NYPIRG. I work at the New York City College of Technology, not too far from here. Just wanted to, wow that's loud. Just wanted to say a couple of quick things. One is that this revenue would be absolutely
and transformative for so many New Yorkers, especially so many students. Not only do we have to go to crumbling campuses every day, our campus, the Tech campus, has mold on it. One of my students had to go to the hospital because he works in the library, and the library has offices he can't go into anymore because of the mold. Not only do our elevators not work in an 11-story building, crowded every day, not only have I had students who've been pushed out of tap, who've gone over their tap limit because they got inadequate advising, because advisement is underfunded. Not only is mental health underfunded, not only is financial aid underfunded, but also the sheer cost of tuition is pushing students out of college, and the sheer cost of transportation is pushing students into smaller course loads that would work for them, is pushing students into online classes that they don't learn as well from. It ain't right. This is a serious issue. It affects thousands of students every day. And stock transfer tax would raise the revenue that our students need across the city, across the state, to get the education they need to contribute to not only contribute to the economy, but to build careers and lives for themselves. Anyway, the second thing I wanted to say is that if you don't know who your state senator or state assembly person is, or if you don't know their phone number, or if you do know but it's faster to just look it up, we have a website for that. You can go to nypirg.org/repfinder. That's nypirg.org/repfinder, REP-finder, and put in your address. That'll give you the link to, that'll give you the contact information for your state senator, your state assembly person, everyone. Call them, talk to them, tell them that you care, because they need to know that people know what they're doing, that people care about this, people understand what the lack of this funding, what the lack of their support, what this entirely unwarranted deference to this monument of iniquity is doing to millions of people every day. Our politicians need to know that we care.
Yes.
Welcome back.
Yes.
Is that good?
Yes, it's good.
This way, Tesla.
It finished. You know you own me, right? You don't say nothing in Chinese.
Yeah,
I don't like it. I don't like you no more.
I can
I don't like you no more. I asked you to say in Chinese, you didn't say it.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. Jump in with you guys.
All right.
Milton! Milton! Milton, ven.
Yeah, Rashida, come on. There you go.
Ven, Milton. Milton.
There you go.
Only queens in that picture.
Wow.
Only queens.
Hold on.
Just because some fucking rude.
Y'all ready? Say hello.
Only queens in that
All right.
picture.
That's a beautiful. I like that.
Only queens.
I like that.
Only queens in that picture. Say it, say it.
所以你知道这个是全世界啊最大的一个罪犯啊，华尔街啊，他把我们的这些钱啊全都拿去赌啊，把我们血汗钱呢都吸掉啊，拿去在那里去赌博啊，决定谁呀是哪一个最有钱的人呢去拿我们的钱呢？而且他们还在我们社区啊设立这些非牟利机构啊，说是帮我们社区，其实这也是在继续剥削我们社区。像我们社区有一个最大的一个非牟利团体叫华社会，他逼我们这个护理员呢做24小时工作日，只给13小时的工资。他们里面的那些董事会全都是这帮人来的，做银行的，做这个地产的，做这个保险的，全都是这帮人。所以呢，我们呢现在这个纽约州啊州长啊胡楚啊，他应该要跟我们社区站在一起啊，要通过这么一个这个税啊，去把他们那些赌博的那些钱呢都要交税啊，来给我们这个社区啊，而且要停止24小时工作日。所以我们呢也号召我们全纽约市5月1号也到这个市议会一起去示威，让这个市政府和这个州政府啊， 要让他们采取我们这个以民为先的一个这个要求，包括停止24小时工作日、全民医保和这个停止逼迁。谢谢 ，Thank you。
谢谢。
That was my sum up.